Despite often producing passive structure spontaneously, it seems that kids have persistent trouble understanding some types of passive sentences, and the way that this is typically investigated is to use a comprehension task. You're asking them to interpret something with what's called a reversible passive. So a reversible passive is a passive sentence that makes sense either way, right? So in this case, Hoggle was hugged by Sarah. Hoggle could be the one doing the hugging in sort of given our world knowledge. Sarah could be the one doing the hugging, giving our world knowledge. It's only by the structure of the utterance, by the passive structure, if you understand the passive structure, that you can figure out who's hugging whom. You cannot rely on world knowledge to help you figure it out. So this is a reversible passive. Hoggle was hugged by Sarah. And if the child really understands the passive structure, they'll figure out, oh, Hoggle's the one getting hugged. Sarah's the one doing the hugging, despite the word order, or perhaps, again, as indicated by the word order with the other passive markers, like the was and the by. Now, it seems that at 4 years old, there's a distinction between children's understanding. So they tend to understand in English passives involving things like pushed. Hoggle was pushed by Sarah, they get it. But words like remember, Hoggle was remembered by Sarah, they're not clear on who's doing the remembering. Is it Hoggle or Sarah? And interestingly, this seems like it has to do with the semantic features, that is, the concepts that are represented by these verbs. Certain features seem to be more salient at different ages. In particular, push is an action, right? It's an observable kind of event. You can see someone pushing. Well, remember is really a mental state. It's something going on internally to the person. You can't sort of physically see them remember. You can see the results maybe on their face of them remembering, but you can't see the process of remembering. It's internal, it's a mental state, and mental states seem tougher to figure out. So some other examples of actional verbs that kids do get by 4 are things like carry and push and kiss, and things that they struggle with are forget and know and believe. And in particular, the mental state where the subject, if we think about Sarah, verbed Hoggle, Sarah's the subject. The verbs where they struggle are the ones where Sarah is the one sort of experiencing, the subject is experiencing the mental state, and nothing really happens to the object. So if we think about, Hoggle carrying Sarah, Sarah's the one carried. If we think about, Sarah forgetting Hoggle, nothing really happens to Hoggle, right? Sarah's having this mental process of forgetting that happened to her. She's experiencing forgetting, or she's experiencing knowing, or she's experiencing believing, but nothing really happens to Hoggle, right? So there's a certain type of concept that these verbs encoding kids really seem to struggle with this at 4 years old.